Hi, and welcome to Partnership Live, our monthly discussion with leaders in New Jersey who are shaping New Jersey healthcare. I'm Mariekarl Vilceus-Talty, and I'm so excited to have with us today Tevra Francis, who is the founder and publisher of New Jersey in Color. Hi, Tevra, how are you?
Hi, Mariekarl. I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Doing well, doing well. So wonderful to have you here. So we always start off our little discussion here talking about if you weren't in your current position, doing what you're doing now with New Jersey in Color, what would you be doing?
I would be probably, well, first of all, I wanted to say again, thanks for having me and thank you for the invite. It's great to be in partnership with the partnership.
Absolutely.
My background was in healthcare and healthcare administration. So I got into doing, the social media and the marketing thing probably because of necessity, but my background has always been healthcare. So if I wasn't doing this, I'd be probably working in a hospital. I came from a hospital. I used to work for a major hospital in New York City, and I'd probably still be working in some similar setting. Hopefully, probably not hopefully, but probably doing marketing or communications in a major hospital setting.
So what was your career path into working in the hospital setting? What did you do?
Oh gosh, prior to that, prior to the hospital, I was in health insurance, Medicare compliance, health insurance compliance, and it kind of was a situation where I moved here, had the qualifications for the business office, healthcare administration. I got my master's degree in health services administration, and but I've always been a communicator. I've always been a connector. And for the department that I was working in, I was leading all of their, outward facing communications, their websites, their forms, their materials for outreach. And it just became a thing where I just kind of used the skills that I was utilizing in different arenas of my career in the medical setting, which, as we know, aside from being a medical, institution, for healthcare is also a business. And so all of those skills that you use in business, you also need them in medical environments, because you need to be able to bring in clients, which are the patients. You need to be able to attract new clients, which are patients. And in a competitive environment like the New York City, New Jersey metro area, they're all in competition with each other, to attract, new clients. I don't like, not to put it in those terms, but that's what it is.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I was doing.
Absolutely.
If I wasn't doing this, that's what I would have been doing and would probably be excelling.
And that's a nice parlay to NJ in Color. So why did you create NJ in Color?
So, like I said, I was working in the city, and when I moved here from Florida. So I didn't know, I'm from California originally. So I've come a long way from, yeah, shout out to the West Coast. I've come a long way from California, from Southern California to New Jersey. And when I first moved here, I didn't know anything. My husband, I came here to be with my then boyfriend, now husband. And I didn't know anything as far as like where to get my hair done, where do people do any of the things that people, it's very important. Just the simple things that women need, that people need when they move to a new place. He was very much embedded in his life in the city, even though he lived in, northern New Jersey. He also worked in the city. So as we know, commuters pretty much spend most of their day in the city. And so, I too was a commuter, so I spent most of my day in the city. I had no knowledge as to what was going on in New Jersey. So once I, did that for a few years, once I became part of New Jersey and was no longer working in the city, I looked around. I had no friends aside from my husband and a couple other people that like my college classmates that I found and that found me, when I moved here. That was it. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything. So I decided, okay, well, if this is going to be home, let me try to make it home. So just exploring, just seeing, where do people go to church? Where do people, find camaraderie? I remember one time I was going to the grocery store and I saw a large group of Black women with the same shirt on. So I was like, okay, that's a group. Like, what do they do? So I
What are
ran
they
over to
doing?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Black Girls Run New Jersey, and they were getting ready to run across the George Washington Bridge. So
Oh.
I'm not a runner, I'm not a runner at all, but
In
it
my
was a
dreams, I
community.
run. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a community, and that's what I was searching for. I was searching for a community. So from there, I just started digging and digging, looking at Facebook groups and different things. I found like the NAACP was at that time getting restarted, and so I just started just like getting in my car, trying to find if they have offices for like the Urban League, if there was an office, if there was just anything that I could kind of put my hands on that was part of the community. And from there, if I found anything, I would share it on a Facebook page that I made up. I figured out a name, made a name for it, and I shared it informally until my husband and I just thought, this could be a thing. And so I just started to grow it and grow it and grow it, and it became a business because, that's what
And
marketers do. We share information and we connect people.
absolutely. And it's a great thing that you did. So you work with a lot of different types of businesses and business leaders. Why is it so critical to elevate Black and Brown voices, business owners, especially in New Jersey?
Well, when I moved here, so the area that I live in Bergen County, and we have magazines that are very popular. I'm not going to shout them out because they have enough shine, but they are or at the time, since I've been doing my thing, they've become very, diverse. But at the time when I was getting started, they were not diverse at all. And they had lifestyle pieces and, fashion and parties and social pieces, and they had no representation of people of color at all. It's like we had no social life, we had no fashion, we had nothing. It's like, what do we do here? And so we did not even have businesses here. And I know that's not true because, when I finally did find a hairdresser, she is a Black woman with a very nice business in a very nice area of Bergen County, very high rent district. So it's like, well, I know that they're here, so why aren't they represented in any of the media that I see? Right. And so with that in mind, I knew that there was a void that needed to be filled. And always in business, they say, if you want to start a business, you need to solve a problem. And so with that in mind, I have very, 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 very slowly tried to fill that void and solve that problem with, what was called at one point Bergen in color. Now it's transitioned to, I call it NJ in color because I'm kind of straddling the fence between North Jersey and New Jersey as a whole. So I just keep it vague, like NJ in color. One day I'll embrace the whole of New Jersey when I get a little bit more time to be able to explore all of New Jersey. But right now I just keep it NJ in color.
Soon, absolutely. But it's not just about business. It's about culture and lifestyle and just being completely authentic and being in New Jersey. So share with us what that means.
So, like I said, I've lived several places. So like I said, I grew up. Let me back all the way up. My parents are Jamaican immigrants. They moved to California. They had me. I'm a Californian and I'm of Jamaican heritage and first generation American. I went to the University of South Carolina. So I was immersed in Southern culture for my college experience, lived in the South for many years, lived in North Carolina. Shout out to Charlotte. Lived in Florida because I took a job there as well. And lived in Florida for a few years while I was working, met my husband down there. He is a New Yorker. I moved to New Jersey to be with him. So that's all of the places that I've lived. So with that in mind, I wanted to bring all of these, I have so many references of culture, references of, you have the Southern, Black experience, you have, West Coast culture is a culture in and of itself. You have all these things, and then you have the Northeast culture of there's hip hop, there's the upper class social culture. There's like so many different cultures that on the surface, that there's island different things that converge in Black culture. We are not, like people say all the time, we are not a monolith. And I think in the mainstream, we are kind of presented in one fashion, like we are just one way, and that is not true. There are Black people that come from many different facets. You can be a Black person, but you can represent so many different areas of Black culture. You're not just one thing. And if you are one thing, that's cool, because in your life, you've experienced so many things. You can represent so many different groups. We're not all one political party. We're not all one religion. We're not all one sexual orientation. We're not all one identity. And even though, I can't represent everybody, I try to get as many things as I can, in my limited ability. It's impossible to represent everybody in the umbrella, but I try to include as many people as I can, because it's important so that people can see that we are diverse in our Blackness, and we are diverse in the richness of our culture. And then if I can, I try to throw in other cultures as well, but it's horrible. I can't do it, because it's like, I am not of that culture. I don't want to do it badly. I don't want to disrespect anybody. So I just try to at least say, hey, there's an event. If there's an event that I have privy to, I'm going to share the information so that people can go and explore it on their own and learn something new. That's what I try to do.
And that's so wonderful that you're such a great connector, getting so many different ethnicities and cultures together to show the rich culture that is New Jersey, especially Northern New Jersey. But how has your platform changed with COVID?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. So before COVID, we were pretty much just getting started. We were just getting a momentum. We did a lot more events. Obviously, I was able to, and I didn't have a child back then, so I was able to kind of just go everywhere and just see more things, meet a lot of people. I was doing a lot of networking at that point. And then COVID struck, and it was, pretty much like everything came to a standstill. And then because I remember I took a picture of myself in Whole Foods, and there was like nothing on the shelves, and I was standing in front of the shelf, and there was nothing behind me, and I didn't even have a mask on. It was that early. The lines for food, and then all of a sudden it became like really urgent, like, okay, wear a mask, and there's still no food. It was like bad. And so after a while, there was no real information. We got information for New York City. We got information for, seemed like everywhere else but for our area. And like, where do we find food? Or, for people that needed assistance, like what's going on? Like, what do we do? Especially for people in like the Teaneck area. Teaneck got hit really hard. Fort Lee, which is right, very close to where, like a literal stone throw from where I live, they got the first documented case for this area of COVID. It was scary, and we didn't know what to do. So I said, okay, well, any morsel of information that I can get, let me just start sharing it. Like, that's because at that point I had a pretty, not influencers, but it was sizable for me, because I don't have 4,000 friends. So
not yet.
So like to me, this is a lot of people. So it's like, okay, well, 2,000 people follow me. Let me at least share something that will be helpful. So I started sharing information. Hey, I heard there's, food distribution by X group, or hey, this place has blah, blah, blah formula, or, whatever, or the governor said that this place has, these are the rates for right now, or, whatever I could share. And so people were mostly appreciative of it, especially when it came down to like the food situation, because it really got dire for those that needed it. And one thing that we need to shake the notion of is that people, especially for Bergen County, is very affluent, but also is not as affluent all the time as we like to
there are pockets
perceive.
of people that
there are pockets of people, and there are several people that are on the borderline. And they always say everyone is 2 paychecks away from homelessness. Like, even if we have large, salaries, a lot of us, especially in this economy, especially with inflation and all of this going on, every one of us can have a bad month, and so we can't look down on anybody thinking that we're all, that couldn't happen to me. It can happen to anybody. So that's why I try to help as many people as I can. So that turned into, important. Yeah. So even before COVID hit, I always wanted to have added a philanthropic part. where everybody can have a chance to give back. So I do a school supplies drive and I do a toy and book drive. Those are my two things where everybody can kind of give, like a Robin Hood type situation. Everybody can give back. And so I continued that. I made sure that we gave back during COVID. So during COVID in particular, when the kids were at home and it was the school learning from home, they needed tablets, they needed, so we had business owners give us tablets and laptops. It was amazing how everyone just kind of chipped in to give back, because there was such a need. Like, it was like, you know, our partners, we always partnered with the Never Alone Again Resource Center, and the Greater Bergen Community Action Foundation in Teaneck, and also Hackensack. Those were our partners in getting all of this stuff distributed, and the lines of people that just needed stuff were just, it was just heartbreaking, you know? So we just try to do what we can. And I don't have, you know, a lot of money, but I have an audience, and it's just a testament of, you do what you can with what you have. And that was my contribution during that, like, very desperate time.
And I do follow you on Instagram, so I do see the great work that you're doing. And you keep saying that you don't have that many followers, but you're reaching quite a few people. So maybe people, you know, the numbers are not showing, but one person is telling another person, and people are attending your events. And, you know, the information that you're dispensing is absolutely valuable, 100%. So kudos to you. And I'm sure you'll get more followers. Sure, slowly but surely.
You know what? It's not even so much of followers, but like, if you want to get like advertisement dollars, like, let me put my marketer hat on, my administrator hat on, the business hat. So when it comes down to like the dollars and cents of it all, they're looking at your actual numbers, and that's kind of like the downside of it all. Yeah, you can have an influence and you know, but when it comes down to the dollars and cents, they want to know, how many followers do you have? It's like, no, I'm not, you know, whoever with 1 million followers, but we do have an influence in the area, I think.
You do, 100%. So let's switch to, I know that you have a brand new baby girl. Now, when did you deliver? During COVID? Like,
no, well, she was born last year, 2021.
Okay, 2021. Can you share with us your birth experience?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So my little nugget, she's my little sweet baby. She is a year and she's what, 16, 17 months now. Yeah, she's our miracle baby. So I had her at age 42. So she's definitely a miracle baby. Was through IVF. So again, miracle. My birth story. So and just a quick plug, where I'm going to be sharing this same birth story at the Aftershock event that I'm going to be talking about in just a few minutes. So yeah, so like I said, she's my miracle. She's everything. She's beautiful. She's so smart. She's just like her daddy, which is how she says daddy. So yeah, so we you know, I was a high risk pregnancy, geriatric pregnancy.
I love when they say that, geriatric pregnancy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not old, but I've, you know, in mommy terms, I guess I am old, but I was 42 at the time. So, and going in, it was a rainy morning in July. And so leading up, the rates for maternal births for you know, deaths were maternal deaths for Black women are abysmal in New Jersey, and I knew that.
7 times more likely. And absolutely.
So
preventable.
Yeah.
Complications, correct.
So for me, being that, you know, and I'll speak for myself, because not everybody has options, not everybody has access like I do. So let me put that caveat out there. I have a privilege, and I understand that. And I, you know, for me, I had to exercise that, because it was my life and the life of my daughter that I wanted to protect. So I exercised that privilege, and I chose to have my daughter in New York City. And I found my OBGYN, she specializes in high risk births and high risk obstetrics. And she's also a Black woman, and she's amazing. And in the days leading up, I said, "Don't let me die." I sat in her office, me and my husband. I said, "All right," and I, with the same face, "Don't let me die," and like almost like shaking my fist at her. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the first person who's ever said that to her. And I was, like they say, and I'm not gonna say the word, but DA. I was DA with it, like, don't let me die. And when it came down to it, okay, let me fast forward. So when we checked in, I was nervous. We were scheduled to be the first birth of the day. We were very early, checked in. I was getting more and more nervous as we did all of our things. As we got to the floor, super nervous. Now that particular hospital, you check in, but then, you have the emergencies, the ambulances come in. So we got
They
bumped.
bumped you to take care of the emergency. Greatest mom ever, absolutely.
She didn't buy it, my husband did.
Mom.
She doesn't know what that says. So by the time we were able to get in, they make you walk to the OR where you're going in. So I was so nervous, like I could feel my knees shake. And you get on the table for them to start the epidural, and I said, I am so nervous, like, to bend over to do I was just so nervous, and I was so nervous. So then they do it, lay down, get started. What should have taken like maybe 30 seconds to a minute for a C-section just went haywire. It took like 9 minutes, 6 doctors, lots of blood, lots of vomit. I couldn't breathe. A violently inserted IV in 2 arms. My husband, who was usually stoic, stone-faced, calm demeanor, he was kind of, he's an MD, so I guess they teach him in medical school to keep the stone face. He was kind of alarmed. So this is me skipping over all of the details of how bad it was, but it was pretty bad. Felt myself like drifting off at a point, but I had to like kind of pull myself back.
Very traumatic.
Lots of beeping. Heard the doctor say, "Get everyone you can." Like, it was bad. It was crazy. It was bad. Finally heard the baby crying. After like all this gush of blood, like it was like an explosion of blood. Like, it was crazy. And but she's here.
That sounds,
and we made it.
very,
And
very traumatic. I'm sorry for that.
yeah,
But
no,
your story, how can you sharing your story, especially on NJ in Color, help with promoting good health and just increasing the awareness of the health disparities that are in New Jersey?
I think because when we see, like I said, that was the very, very, very much abbreviated version. That's the version that doesn't make me cry. But I think when we see like numbers on a page, like, hey, Black women are 7 times more likely to die than white women, and it's like, oh, that's too bad. Moving on. No, y'all, you guys follow me. You guys see me on here every day. I could have been one of those women. Like, you have to start putting, if you get pregnant, that could be you, because it could have been me. Like, it, and it doesn't have anything to do with whether you're rich or poor, if you're middle class or upper class. It has nothing to do with your master's degrees or if you didn't graduate high school. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's the state of healthcare, period. And I hope that in sharing these stories and in sharing this documentary and sharing these resources, people know
documentary, which is
Aftershock, the Aftershock documentary, which is going to be screened at the Teaneck Film Festival on November 20th. And tickets are on sale now. You can go to teaneckfilmfestival.org to purchase your ticket. It's going to be shown at Temple EMF. And it's a very large auditorium. I think the tickets are only $10. Should be there. There's going to be a talk back afterwards. Our event is on November 3rd, which is it's free. Just to show up. We're going to have a discussion. Our event is at Teaneck High School auditorium. We're going to be, the partnership is going to be there. The YWCA of Northern New Jersey is going to be there. The National Coalition of 100 Black Women. Oh gosh, I hope
there's so many people are going to be there.
Yeah, so many people are going to be there. We're going to have doulas, we're going to have OBGYN, we're going to have healthcare professionals from all over North Jersey talking about these numbers and how we can come together and provide resources to women of all economic backgrounds, all areas, because we need to start doing our part to combat this. I guess it's an epidemic, you know, because we can't lose our sisters because they just want to have a child, you know, because these children are growing up without their moms.
And it's affecting the entire community. And
yeah,
you know, Bergen in Color, amplifying those voices and increasing the awareness to your constituents is absolutely very, very important. So your partnership and the way that you're a convener and connector is so important to amplify the voice of the community. And thank you so much about that.
Thank you. And one more point, I got my hair done so I could look presentable. And I was telling, shout out to Tina Pearson Salon. I was telling.
I know Tina Pearson, we'll talk later.
Yeah, I was in the chair yesterday and I was talking to the stylist. Her name is Yaya. And I was telling her about the event. And she was saying how her experience and how, you know, she had a challenging experience and they did not listen to her either, and what happened as a result. And, you know, it's everybody has these experiences where, you know, everybody has a story. And if only we had resources, if only we felt like we had a voice and, you know, or an advocate or somebody in our corner to say, hey, this is how she feels, or hey, something's not right, or, you know, what should be happening at this point, you know what I mean? So
it's very important that we use our voices. We use NJ in Color, we use the partnership, we use the MES survey, the maternal experience survey, and Earth to raise our voices to make sure that we're changing the paradigm. So in terms of, I know we only have maybe like a minute to go, but in terms of
it went fast.
I know we had
so much gosh.
Being a connector, I know that you're supporting our event, which is Cooking in Conversation on November 17th. Anything that you're looking most forward to? So it's November 17th at the Morris Museum.
Yes.
And if you're interested, please go to pmch.org/cooking to get tickets. But what are you looking most forward to?
The food, like I told you, the food. Last year, was it last year? It was last year. Last year's event was so much fun. I really enjoyed myself. So I'm really looking forward to the conversation. Your honoree this time is Dr. Like I said, I started in healthcare, and I'm always interested in women who have achieved so much in the healthcare and industry space. So I'm always looking forward to, like you had Micheline last year. Can you repeat her name? I don't want to.
This year we have Dr. Shalja Dixik, who is the president and CEO of Curio Technologies.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I just want I want to learn more about her. I've never met her. I always look forward to meeting women who have achieved and who have done, you know, that pioneering work, because to go so far in such a male-dominated industry.
She's a trailblazer.
Yeah, no,
it's digital technologies. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's somebody that I would really want to like meet and hear from, while eating great food, girl.
Absolutely. Great food, great conversation.
And I want to see the museum as well. Like I've never been out there, so I want to see the location. So that will be a lot of fun.
Yes, indeed. So we look forward to having you there. We look forward to following you on Instagram, Bergen in Color.
No, NJ in Color.
NJ in Color. Absolutely. Bergen in Color was the first one. NJ.
That was the first iteration.
Getting all of that great information about businesses, culture, lifestyle, everything that is happening here in New Jersey. Thank you so much for taking this time to speak to me. Please squeeze the cheeks of that little sweet baby of yours, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you to Monica for the back end support, and thank you guys for having. I'll see you guys at the conversation, Cooking and Conversations.
Cooking and Conversations, November 17th. Absolutely. And thank you for joining us for our session today, speaking to Tevra Francis of NJ in Color. We look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.